Hello and welcome. Yeah, welcome to another episode of Moose's Gear Goo Review. I'm Moose, and if you're new to the channel, I'm Moose. Thanks for stopping by. If you're into knives, gear, food, and tech, I do reviews of those types of things and more on this channel. So if that interests you, please subscribe, hit that subscribe button, and hit that bell notification for any up-to-date videos that come along so you don't miss them. Other than that, I always appreciate feedback. Thumbs up, thumbs down, I don't care. But either way, do what you got to do. And thank you for joining me, because today we got a super cool knife. And that knife is the Kershaw Turismo. Ooh. Kershaw Turismo. I hope I'm saying that right, because I get a lot of flack when I say things wrong. But yeah, super cool offerings from Kershaw. I will talk about this knife, talk about the blade shape and handle, and everything else I can think about with this. But I will say, spoiler alert, I dig this knife, and I think it's super cool. And for the price that I got this for, I'm pretty happy with it. So let's get into the review. Alright, so the overall length of the knife is 6.75 inches. The blade length is just over 2 3/4 inches long. The cutting edge is about 2 3/4 inches long. The blade width is about 1 inch in width, this way. And the blade thickness is about 0.11 inches thick. The handle length is just over 3 3/4 inches long. The handle width is 0.875 inches wide, and the handle thickness is just under 1/2 inch. The overall weight for this stainless steel frame lock knife is 3.3 ounces, so not bad for being a stainless steel frame lock. So we're gonna talk about the blade shape, the handle, pocket clip, all that jazz. But as always, let's start with the blade. So this is a Kershaw in-house design. There is a marking on here, and some of the other markings are your typical model number, the Kai, as well as a D2 blade stamp. On the show side, we do have the Kershaw Speed Safe logo, which I did not know that this was a Speed Safe knife when I first got it. So I opened it and it just shot out. I was like, whoa. So there is kind of like a fuller, so I guess we'll talk about deployment here quick, but there is kind of a fuller that is on both sides of the blade, which makes it ambidextrous in that sense. So it's like a fuller slash cutout, and it works pretty well. And I initially tried that with my thumb, but I don't have the right leverage all the time to do that. I don't know, for some reason I'm just not that good at it. But the cool thing is this knife is also a flipper, and so what they did is they cut away some of the frame or the handle scale to give you access to the tang of the knife and create that little flipper tab. And it is jimped, so there's some jimping on it, and you just gently press it down and it just flies out. It just rockets out. So the action on this is super awesome. But we're still talking about the blade. So overall, it is a full flat grind, very nice plain edge blade. I would call this almost like a leaf shaped blade slash shallow sheep's foot, almost like a sheep spear point too. I don't know, it's one of those really funky kind of shapes. Has a little bit of a Nessmuk shape to it as well, if you're familiar with that. But overall, I dig this kind of look and shape of the blade. Very clean satin finish. It is kind of two-tone with that fuller in there and that cutout. But yeah, looks very nice. There is some nice jimping up top. Not too aggressive, though the edges are sharp, so it kind of has a 90-degree spine, and you probably could throw some sparks off the jimped area if you needed to. but the jimping itself is more of like a medium jimping, so it locks in, but it's not too aggressive. There is a nice ricasso there, sharpening ricasso, and the overall cutting edge, it came very sharp and looks very clean, very nice and symmetrical. So the fit and finish on the blade is excellent. Like I said, it is a flipper. You can also do like a spider flick by getting your nail right in that fuller on the knife, and it just flies right open. So really enjoy doing kind of the spider flick with the assisted opening. A lot of fun. The other cool design feature with this is that the flipper tab, when it's deployed, disappears into the silhouette of the frame. So it is a hidden flipper tab. It doesn't form a guard like most other flipper tabs, and it hides seamlessly into the frame and gives it a very clean look. So really dig that. Now going into the handle, the handle's not terribly impressive compared to other models that I've seen. It is contoured and nicely rounded and very smooth, and there are some kind of dips that kind of mirror where the pocket clip goes. So where the pivot is, you got that nice kind of scallop there, which is very smooth and just changes the depth of it slightly, but then too it kind of mirrors where the pocket clip would go on the other side. And then but other than that, it's very smooth. All the hardware is black, so it gives it a very clean kind of matte look to it. But not terribly impressive, but it definitely contrasts with the blade and gives it kind of a modern cyberpunky feel. That's kind of the vibe I get from it. So there is no lanyard hole, and there is a cool kind of designed back spacer. You have the other spot for the pocket clip, so it is ambidextrous, left or right, tip up only. The pocket clip itself is pretty nice. It's a fold over deep carry, and the screws are a little bit more flattened, like flathead screws, so they're not like bulging out and rounded. They're a little bit more flat than usual, but they do still protrude enough to where they could easily have some improvement by getting recessed flat screws. But with the sleek, smooth metal handle and the finish on it, it did slide in and out of pocket pretty well, and you do have to kind of push it a little bit more over those two screws. So we'll do a shot in pocket here, but it's a fairly long pocket clip, and you can get the majority of your pants into that crevice of the pocket clip. But if it gets cut on that screws, you have to give it a little bit more of an adjustment to get over those two screws, but not a total deal breaker. I do like how simple the pocket clip is though, and it just has the K branding on the pocket clip, but it's nice, and it matches the overall look of the stainless steel handle. Once again, going into the frame, you have a nice tight laser cut frame. There isn't a big gap, so it keeps things nice and tidy, looking very sleek, and that is a theme carried throughout the design of this knife as well. There is no scallop or groove on the backside, but you do have a nice recessed pivot hex bolt there. The other nice thing is on the interior of the knife, the stainless steel handles are pocketed out slightly. Not sure if you'll be able to see it here. Obviously there is a pocket for the speed safe torque bar in there to help with the assisted opening, but too, they also were able to mill out some other parts of it just to lighten the load, so I really like that. It is a stainless steel frame lock. There is no texturing, jimping, or anything on it, but it is slightly raised from the other scale, so when you go across, you do actually hit that lock bar, and it makes it easier to disengage the lock. As far as the grip in hand, for me with my XL sized hands, I get the 3 fingers into that groove, and then the pinky wraps around the tail end, having that upswing part go between my ring finger and my pinky finger or whatever. But very comfortable, and my thumb lands right on that jimping. So good for carving. I do really like this for carving, and the blade shape is good for just kind of everyday use, opening up packages and whatnot. The other thing is this knife is very fidgety in my opinion, because you can do the flipper, but I really like doing the middle finger spidey flick with it. So boom. So let's test it with the ugly brown glove test. So this is the ugly brown glove test. So let's check it out. It's black. You can see it's very smooth in my hand. There's just a little bit of jimping up here, but overall in hand this thing slides bad with this cloth glove. The jimping on the flipper tab is nice. I can feel it and I can disengage. The jimping on the thumb, like I said, it was fairly mild, so it's not really locking in, but it's better than nothing. And I'm barely pulling this, like it's slipping right out. Other than trying to get my glove caught on the pocket clip, this is really not very good for a cloth glove. So keep that in mind. Maybe a leather or like a rubberized grip glove would work well with this, but cloth, or even like I think a mechanic's glove, they have that faux leather. I don't think it would grip very well with this. So definitely a bare hand knife, but super cool. So does it pass the ugly brown glove test? I was able to deploy it and disengage the lock, so yes, it passes, but like a C-, pretty bad. I don't know, have I ever given an F? We'll do D-, I guess. Yeah, D-. I mean, I can still do it, but don't feel safe, so whatever. That being said, overall, I really do like this knife. I think it's a really cool design, especially for like an in-house design. It is a little bit heavier than what I prefer, but overall, the fit and finish and the lines and ergos and action on this is really nice. It does run on cage ball bearings, so that's part of the reason why it's so like quick to jet out. The other nice thing too is on other speed safe knives, I usually struggle sometimes to close it one-handed. This, for whatever reason, either it's the size, the shape, or what, but they definitely dialed in that torque bar to assist the blade without making it hard to close. So it's really easy to close it one-handed. So really like that about the knife. So overall, who's this knife for? Definitely more of an urban EDC look and feel to it. EDC if you want, but I definitely get more of like a urban cyberpunk vibe with this knife, and it isn't necessarily meant for hard work, but I mean, it is a thicker stock. It came super sharp. It's D2 steel, so yeah, but I'd probably carry this as an urban EDC. There you have it, guys. That is my review of the Kershaw Turismo. Super cool offerings for 2020. Other than that, as always, please leave your comments and thoughts down below in the comment section. I love to know what you guys think of this knife, and if there's knives that are similar or better, always looking for recommendations. Other than that, check all the links below. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Share this if you want to, and hit that notification bell for more videos. Other than that, guys, peace, and I'll see you outside. Bye!